In today's dollars and cents, it is always a good idea to contribute to and keep an eye on your retirement accounts. And now, in an environment of increased market volatility, inflation, higher interest rates, and geopolitical turmoil, the question is, are you taking too much risk with your retirement account? Joining us now, financial advisor and insurance specialist Jason Matthews. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What do you mean by that when you ask the question, are you taking too much risk with your retirement accounts?
Great question. So what we often see is people are investing like they're in their 20s and 30s still, where they're heavily in their stocks and their equities positions, and they're not thinking about their full picture of how this will impact in there as they get closer towards retirement. So as you know, you're 10 years or closer, sooner to retirement, or retirement, you should have a different perspective than your 20s and 30s, because if a downturn happens, you cannot ride that wave back up for long periods of time, because it could affect your retirement.
So as you move more into your 40s, 50s, 60s, should you be increasingly moving that adjustment between stocks and bonds, or less aggressive stocks? What do you typically, I know everybody's situation is different, but in general, what do you think we should be considering?
Oh, great question. So as you age, you want to get more conservative, which means you're going to go from your high growth stocks, and you're going to be usually get more conservative value stocks as well. You're going to should be getting more and more into your bonds and your fixed income and your guarantee ideas as you get closer and closer towards those retirement ages, and not just in your high flying, hot stock pick of the month type of ideal that some people do when they as they get age.
Okay, and who should be making those adjustments? So talk again about you were saying kind of like 15 years out, 10 years out, 5 years out from retirement, because everybody gets to retire, I guess, at a different age, right?
Exactly, right? And so I think what you want to do is you want to start looking at 10 years out. 10, 15 years out from your retirement. You know, some people want to retire at 55, some people will say 70. Everybody has their magic number. And so as you get closer to your magic number, you should be looking at, how does this impact me? So if I'm very aggressive, especially as we had a huge boom since 2022, now we have volatility, I should be trying to take some of that risk off at that point and see how, instead looking at my account balance, I'm saying, how much income will this drive for me in retirement? And what do I have to do to get towards that number without having so much downside risk?
Okay. Kind of helps us get through some of that volatility. Trust it to the experts. If you have a financial advisor or if your accounts are in one of those big, Fidelity, Vanguard, they have those resources for you to ask those questions.
Correct, right? So you want to talk to your financial advisor. Oftentimes as well, Fidelity and them actually have it where you could ask an advisor. So it's not just you clicking on it, but you can pay a little bit additional, and they can look at your advisement as well. But you want to look at your overall picture. Your retirement should not just be your 401k plan. You should be considering your Social Security, your 401k plan, your IRAs, and your Roths. And sometimes they're all scattered everywhere, and we want to make sure they can look at your full picture on how that looks like for you.
Okay. Jason Matthews, thank you so much for joining us on that. Good advice.